This footage was captured by a Ring doorbell camera, and what it shows is deeply unsettling. It comes from a woman named Heather, living in the quiet suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. One evening, she sat outside on the porch, sharing a moment with her husband and 2 children. Just a peaceful night, ice cream in hand. But then, Heather suddenly freezes.
Kind of going on. What? What did you say? What did you say, Mommy?
At that moment, the camera captures what she sees: the faint, ghost-like figure of a woman gliding along the sidewalk just behind them, dressed in white, nearly transparent, her form unnatural, her presence deeply wrong. Her voice drops low as she murmurs, "She scares me." Her husband and children laugh, confused, completely unaware. They don't see it, but Heather does. It's as if the spirit was meant only for her. And in that single moment, Heather knows she's not just seeing things. Heather later posted an eerie update, one that only deepens the mystery. She revealed that her home is located just about a mile from the old Philadelphia State Hospital at Byberry, a long-abandoned psychiatric facility known for its dark and tragic past. But what truly sent chills down her spine was her father's reaction after seeing the footage. He told Heather that back when he lived in the same house, his next-door neighbor was a woman named Linda, a nurse who worked at Byberry during the 1950s. And after closely examining the footage, the resemblance between the ghostly figure's uniform and the one Linda used to wear was nearly identical. ZeroFoxFK isn't your typical gamer. Known among a small but loyal online audience, he regularly live streams gameplay and tech tests from his home, often experimenting with gadgets like the Xbox Kinect, which has a unique ability to pick up depth, movement, and sometimes the unexplainable. But one night in particular, while casually testing the Kinect's tracking system, ZeroFoxFK captured something he never expected, and something he still can't explain. The Kinect camera, using infrared light to detect motion and bodies in 3D space, scans the room in front of him. But then, subtly at first, a strange shape appears in the background, a dark, human-sized silhouette standing perfectly still behind him. There's no one else home, no movement, no sound, just the eerie presence of this figure, visible only through the Kinect's lens. He begins cycling through the camera's visual effects, from negative filters to thermal imaging, in a desperate attempt to see if the mysterious figure was still lingering nearby. But it was gone, just as suddenly as it had appeared. It had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a sense of unease. Was it something paranormal, a glitch in the technology, or something far more disturbing? For most, video games are a comforting escape, a relaxing, even therapeutic way to unwind. But the thought that something unseen could be watching you, standing silently right beside you while you're your most vulnerable, when your focus is elsewhere and your guard is completely down, that's not just unsettling, it's deeply terrifying. Because what could be more disturbing than realizing you were never truly alone? Franco TV is a solo paranormal explorer who's gained a loyal following for his chilling late-night investigations. He travels to abandoned buildings, forgotten cemeteries, and haunted places, usually completely alone. With just his flashlight and camera, Franco captures the raw and unsettling moments most of us would run from. In this video, Franco ventures into a graveyard under the cover of night, hoping to explore and maybe catch something paranormal on camera. But as the night unfolds, it becomes chillingly clear. He found much more than he ever expected.
You can see so much more now with the night vision. It's ridiculous. Hold on. Just heard a noise. I literally just heard a noise down here. What the f? Holy crap. There's somebody legit inside the room. Holy crap.
As Franco pans his flashlight across the graveyard, the beam lands on a small structure tucked away in shadows. For a moment, everything seems still until the light hits the open doorway. There, seated just inside, is what looks like an old woman. She's barely visible, shrouded in darkness, her form unnaturally still, draped in what appears to be a pale gown or shawl. She sits motionless, almost as if waiting.
Okay. Alright, so this just changed the way the video is going to be a little bit. If I'm here by myself and there's nobody here, I'm not bothering anyone. I feel more comfortable kind of walking around the area and doing my investigation. But because there's someone inside that room, I have to be very careful now because I don't want to come off disrespectful recording people. But there seems to be a lady in that room.
Despite now realizing he's no longer alone in the graveyard, Franco pushes forward with his investigation, capturing footage of statues, crumbling arches, and smaller forgotten structures scattered across the site. Everything seems to settle as he nears the end of his exploration, until he sees her again, the same old woman. But this time, she's no longer tucked away in a doorway. She's out in the open, still, silent, and unmistakably there.
Hello? Ma'am? Do you need help? Not doing that.
Clips like this are exactly the kind that keep believers firmly convinced that the paranormal is real. Sure, it could have been just a real woman wandering a graveyard in the dead of night, but honestly, that possibility is just as unsettling. No matter what you believe, either explanation is enough to send chills down your spine. In this unsettling clip, a man walks into what appears to be a children's nursery or possibly a small children's museum. The place is clean, well lit, and clearly maintained, but it's completely empty. Or at least that's what he thought.
Anybody in here? Hello? Yeah, but listen, you got to get out of here. You're going to have to come talk to me, okay? Where you at? I can't see you. You're correct, so you need to come out, okay? You guys hear this? This is broad daylight. I don't know where this kid is. Where are you?
Calling out to check if anyone's still inside before locking up for the night. Almost immediately, he hears a small, childlike voice respond. It sounds like a little girl, but when he looks around, there's no one there. No footsteps, no signs of anyone hiding. Just an empty room and that voice. What follows is an unnerving back and forth. The voice continues to speak, yet no source can be found. Was it a prank? Something paranormal? We may never know, But one thing's for sure, if I were that security guard, I'd be handing him my notice by morning. Angelo, the face behind the YouTube channel Exploring with Angelo, is no stranger to darkness. Known for venturing into abandoned buildings, haunted forests, and places most people wouldn't dare step foot in. He doesn't just explore the unknown, he invites it to speak.
Okay, so just starting out here, first things first. Hoping this spot is not super muddy like it usually is. So I figure I might as well take a second and explain what it is that they found here. There was an animal sacrifice done in here. They have no idea who did it. It was reported to the police. From what I know, cleaned up. We'll see if there's anything else like left over there. I'm gonna essentially do something really stupid. Like I said, I'm gonna play the Ouija board in here.
He explains to the camera that the forest he's camping in has a dark and disturbing past. According to local rumors, this area was once used by satanic cult, where animal sacrifices were believed to have taken place. The stories have circulated for years, unconfirmed, but persistent enough to give the forest an infamous reputation. And this is exactly where Angelo has chosen to not only camp alone, but to use a Ouija board.
Which, as we all know, is a bad idea.
Alright, we got the Ouija board here set up. I'm gonna get Spirit Talker running first. So just ask some questions, and then we'll ask more questions on here. Okay, I don't think I've ever done this before. I don't think I've ever done a Ouija board in the middle of the woods, especially woods that are as haunted as this. I'm starting to feel a little nauseated, which is not good. It's not really a table, it's more of a communication board, but please come through and communicate with me either through this or the board directly.
As Angelo begins using the Ouija board, it quickly becomes apparent that something might be trying to make contact. Even in the early moments of the session, before anything clearly happens, he mentions feeling suddenly nauseous, like an invisible weight pressing down on him. What he doesn't realize yet was that this was just the beginning.
Board.
E. And it literally just said board. Game board, I guess? What? Okay, that's spooky. Yes, this is a board. Just heard something move outside the tent. Okay, I'm gonna end the session for a second, okay? I'm closing off the session. What did I just do?
It becomes clear that Angelo has made some sort of contact as the planchette begins moving, seemingly guiding his hand to specific letters on the board. But just as the session intensifies, unsettling noises begin echoing from outside the tent. Tension builds fast. He grabs his pocket knife, instinctively bracing for the unknown, and nervously mutters, "What did I just do?" Despite the growing unease, Angelo stays put. Unfortunately for him, things are about to get even more bizarre.
That was weird. It literally sounded...
Stacy.
What the f was that? Nope, no. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know if I want to know what the hell that was. Okay. It's getting a little hard to breathe in here. Okay, you know what? This is... Oh my... Okay, what is that? What keeps doing that? Okay, you know what? This is probably a bad idea. Honestly, I think I should probably leave. Yeah, let's, I think I'm gonna do that.
Eventually, the tension reaches a breaking point. The eerie noises persist, and the atmosphere around Angelo grows heavier, more oppressive. Whatever he may have contacted through the Ouija board, it seems to linger just beyond the reach of his flashlight. Clearly shaken, Angelo makes the decision to pack up his tent in the middle of the night. With his gear hastily gathered and nerves on edge, he leaves the site behind, alone, in the dark, and likely questioning if it was ever worth it. Sometimes, curiosity doesn't just lead to answers. It leads to doors better left unopened.